This is our project management video presentation for the cost analysis of drilling a well. Our team members are Jonathan Ciascio, John Caberline, Colby Levine, and Jill Salamanca, and we are group number 13. Upon initial consideration of the subject matter of our project, it was decided that our topic should not only gain the interest of current industry, but should also have some sort of application towards current conditional constraints. We decided to do an analysis of the costs associated with drilling an onshore well in modern conditions. The industry is in a sense of turmoil currently, with the prices of oil and gas, both of which are the lowest they've been in over a decade. However, certain companies are still staying afloat and progressing through the tough times. It is the changes that these companies have made in the last 4 to 5 years that we are focusing our main sense of interest towards. This reason is why we feel that the industry will have such an in our current analysis. We hope to provide a basic overview of current procedures of onshore drilling that can be overseen and compared to the methods of others with different economic or procedural limitations. We plan to work side by side as a team for the remaining duration of the project. A designated group leader was not assigned in the sense that we intend to work more similarly to that of a group of company associates. Jonathan Ciascio will be in charge of overseeing the direction of our meetings from here on, keeping meetings on track, recording progress that was made during said meetings. He will keep the information discussed and the decisions made recorded for further reflection and review. John Caberline will oversee the relationship and communication between the group and the project sponsor. He will be in charge of keeping both on the same page while the flow of idea exchange occurs. He is also the head of research for the project, having the greatest current knowledge of resources for data. I will organize our gathered data into a presentable platform. Being the most organized of the group, I feel like I'm the most optimal for this position. I will also aid in research in the beginning of the project life. Colby Levine will be the overall timekeeper. He will keep track of the expectations for the project and make sure that they are met in a desired timely manner. We are all responsible for the management of our own project, but he specifically will see it that all work done on the project is done in a timely manner so that deadlines are met with ease. During the meetings conducted throughout the project planning, we decided to change the scope of the project to ensure its overall success. We plan to do the drilling cost analysis of drilling rigs currently operating on land in a certain formation. We decreased the overall scope to increase the accuracy of the data and to possibly apply to other drilling companies with similar drilling conditions. We plan on covering certain aspects of the drilling operations. We will go into detail on what has to be done to set up infrastructure of a drilling rig on a potentially prosperous play. We will cover current leasing conditions in our project area and potential changes that have occurred. These changes dictate profitability of a well just as much as any part of the well construction. After infrastructure, we will go further into the analysis by going into the costs that are currently associated with getting and running a rig on that location. These costs are subject to variables such as rig rates and equipment rental costs needed to carry out day-to-day operations while drilling.
Provided below in a table is a general plan for the milestone schedule we have constructed for the next half of the project. The dates are currently subject to change once we receive a more detailed outline of due dates from the professor. We have assumed these dates to be spaced evenly throughout the remaining project life so that each portion can have an adequate amount of time to be completed. Some parts of the project may require more time than others, so we have planned accordingly that if we finish early on some portions, we may still be able to meet deadlines later on in the project by utilizing the extra time. We hope not to encounter any changes throughout the duration of the project. We intend on over-researching so that we have enough information at our disposal to be discarded instead of having to change our project scope or any details of the analysis itself. On the off chance that there needs to be a change made to the project, we would carry out the change in the order listed below. Considering our project is a cost analysis itself, our only foreseeable cost is going to be the money spent on fuel when we go to visit operators and service companies. The whole team is going to be responsible for managing said costs. If a change is needed to be made in the budget, a majority rule amongst the team will decide the outcome of the change. Our cost performance is going to be qualitatively measured by the distance driven during the project. More distance will result in much more money being spent. Again, the frequency of money spent is determined on how often we will be traveling to gather information as well. As of right now, our team believes that we will be traveling to at least 5 companies. The amount of miles could be upwards of 200, while the monetary price will be unknown because of fluctuating gas prices. Since this money is coming out of our own pockets, we will not be presenting changes to any higher level management. The schedule management plan will be constructed by group members using a simple Microsoft Word program. We will see to following this plan so that the team stays on both the time frame for the analysis and does not exceed the analysis projected budget. The project deliverables will be defined on our work breakdown structure as listed above. The following will be the designated milestones for the project.
The roles and responsibilities of the project schedule development is as follows. Project managers will oversee the time frame and full completion of certain parts of the project. They will make sure each portion of the project is completed in full and that the data that will be used will be conclusive to the analysis. They will be required to work together during and outside of meetings to maintain the designated time frame and edit if needed. We must work together evenly on our scheduling to see that this position is representative of the group as a whole. Project members, as said before, for our analysis we wish to all take the role of the acting project manager. We plan to evenly distribute the responsibility of the acting project manager. We also expect to come to certain conclusions on what is best for the project as a whole together. Project sponsors will be responsible for acting as a guidance to the direction of the project. They will be needed for certain meetings and through email to not only review the progress of the project that has undergone periodically, but to make suggestions to changes that we could have made or could potentially make in the future of our scheduling to better see the overall success of the project. Project stakeholders will review the projected project scheduling and assist in future validation of the project. They can grasp the scale of the scheduled project and offer a realistic perspective on the schedule's ability for completion. The entire team has a responsibility to the stakeholders, Dr. Williams, and themselves to deliver a thorough and complete cost analysis of drilling a well. Our role as a team is to make sure that we include all major parts of drilling a well and not to leave any important costs. We will also want to include different options of equipment in our analysis in order to give the most cost-efficient means of drilling a well. We as a team control the quality of the product, and each of us needs to hold the other to a high standard of work. Our stakeholders are our main quality monitoring team. We will continually monitor our work for its quality, but it is important to have a third party look at the project. They will not have any bias towards the project and will be honest with our team about the quality of our work. Our stakeholders will inform us what to correct and what needs to be elaborated upon. Identifying and managing risks in this project will be paramount to the interpretation of the data we collect to compare the cost analysis of different operational techniques. By being objective in our interpretation of data from various companies, we can better defer the subjective skewness of certain data that companies produce to best protect their image. An example of this is an interpretation of data such as dry hole percentage, without clarifying how a company defines a dry hole, and not conducting the subjective approach will impact the accuracy of our results. Certain companies' privacy policies restrict the access of data, is a risk that we may also encounter. This can be managed by minimizing the use of weak data and providing an analysis only of strongly supported and transparent data.
The analysis project will consist of a matrix structure that resembles a matrix structure of a traditional project, but as you may notice, we have multiple people covering positions that normally one person would be in charge of. We have evenly distributed a couple of traditional titles amongst the group as a whole. This distribution can be observed in the parentheses to the side of each job title. Project managers. These positions are the overall responsibility holders for the data analysis project. we are individually yet cumulatively responsible for all planning, conducting, and managing all researching events and organization events. We also oversee the construction of the analysis and the quality of the data that will be submitted in its construction. The overall success of the analysis depends on the consistency of discipline, both individually and as a group. As members, we should not only oversee our own performance and subject it to criticism, but we should be open to the interpretation of our work from other managers. We must maintain internal coordination amongst ourselves if we are to each be an acting manager. We also must coordinate closely with those of us that are close to our sponsor. Sponsor networking. These positions will be in charge of not only communicating with the sponsors for the project, but professing to the remainder of the group the input that they have received from the sponsors. They must be completely unbiased with their work and open to subjective criticism from the sponsors on what can be done to make the analysis more effective. Researching. Researchers must be able to navigate through the data they are collecting to ensure that it is applicable to the task at hand. They are in charge of finding unbiased yet still accurate data that can be used to effectively represent what is desired out of the analysis. They also must be able to dictate what would be the most sufficient data to use for each portion of the analysis based upon its relevance towards that portion. The accuracy of the analysis is their main task. Media construction. This position will be one of the more important positions in the group. We have selected our best suitable member due to their organizational habits and knowledge of presentation aesthetics. How the analysis is presented will greatly influence how it is interpreted. This much invested into our analysis, we want it to come across as clear and attractive to its viewers. This clarity is the main goal of this position. Quality specialist. Similar to the researching position, the quality specialist will go through the pertinent data that was selected previously to use for the analysis. They are a further step into the consolidation and organization of the data to be used. They are to compare multiple tracks of data and decide what would be the best overall representation for the portion of the analysis at hand. We want to best represent actual field data that exists, so this position is to be a last step check for abnormalities in the data itself. Data organizer. As data organizers, we will be dealing with the data that both the researchers and the quality specialists have deemed useful to the analysis. We must find a way to express the technical ideas in a simple manner. We must make sure that the data is consistent in its process throughout the analysis and does not jump around. Much like a report, we expect to approach the analysis with certain flow navigation throughout it. These organizers will be similar to someone acting as a guide throughout a tour, looking for ways to smoothly transition from data to data that expresses the quantitative cost of drilling in certain conditions. They must stay on topic yet maintain interest with the ordering of the information.
What we expect to accomplish with this project is to preview a simplified analysis to the industry of a drilling operations costs. This analysis can be overseen to observe actions that may have been taken to make changes and the changes of the general costs themselves that have occurred due to a change in the industry, whether the changes be due to economic changes or any other factors in the well. The quality we intend to achieve would be that we have an accurate report that is well presented and organized. We also hope to present this information so that it can be observed and understood by not only industry personnel, but common people without a vast understanding of the oil industry. If we can achieve a simple presentation that could be understood by entry-level personnel, yet captivate the attention and interest of those who have been in the industry for a lifetime, we will have succeeded. This is what we strive for from ourselves and our work involved in the course of this project.